back for another episode, round 2 of objection handling. And today we're going to be going through a couple of things. So we will get back into the objection handling. We'll spend about the last half hour or so going through some of my top objection handles. But I hope more importantly, over the course of these last few calls, you guys are starting to understand that sales is very much about structure. Okay, so when we have a good structure, all right, and we've practiced that structure, we've practiced the plays within the structure. Okay, what that does is basically it takes the mystery out of sales. All right, it's long, I think, been misunderstood that you have to be slick talking, that you have to be this, out of this world character in order to be successful at sales, and that's simply not true. All right, the best salespeople I have encountered, I mean, real closers, people making $500,000 or $1 million a year in personal income. All right, they are very much process driven. They are practicing, when they have issues. Every detail counts. Okay. Quite the opposite of what we see in the movies and what we're led to believe is a traditional closer. All right. I want you to really think about how you position yourself, that no matter what happens during an engagement with a sales opportunity, that you're confident, right? That you're able to maintain your composure, but more importantly, you're able to actually lead the call. All right. Versus having to feel like, maybe somebody's leading you through a call, or, even worse, that you feel salesy. All right. I don't know if you've ever encountered that where, again, you almost, the way the interaction goes, it feels transactional, right? It feels like you're pitching and, they're not buying, right? So what we have to really come to grips with is a better understanding of what exactly sales is and what your job and role and mindset needs to be during that sale. Okay. So number one, first and foremost, we're there to lead. Okay. We're not there to sell. Okay. Let's leave that behind. Let's detach ourselves from the outcome. Okay. Because the second you start to focus on the outcome, and a lot of new sales reps and people just starting sales, they get fixated on closing. I've got to close. I got to close. I've got to, and immediately people sense that, right? Like I said, we all can admit that we know when people are trying to sell us and we don't like it, right? So this isn't about tips and tricks. This is about, again, getting yourself into a leadership position, having the confidence to lead your customer and having them actually want to do business with you, trust you, and, have a good project along the way. Does that sound like, what we should all be striving towards?
For sure.
Right? Okay, cool. So I want to take a moment just before we get right into this to review some of the stuff that we talked about last week, just so it's fresh on everybody's mind. So can anybody, or is anybody willing to share with me how we manage an objection from a structure point of view? Anybody remember? What's our first step?
Isolate the objection.
Perfect. Okay. Then what? Here, I'll give it to you guys. So we're going to isolate the objection, then what? Well, first, we actually missed a step. I apologize. So our first step is to actually say it again.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was off mute.
Totally. So the first one is actually to agree with them, right? So we want to commit or confirm. So somebody says, hey, you know what? The price is a little high. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Does anybody tell me why we do that first?
Kind of drops their walls, makes
Okay.
them a little bit more comfortable because we're agreeing with them rather than trying to force feed something down the throat.
Okay. So what we're doing is lowering our sales resistance. Okay. So again, and not coming off as combative or argumentative, right? So a big mistake that we do is that we go right into an objection handle. Okay. So if you don't take that pause, that moment, all right, slow down the conversation. Remember, you're leading it, right? You get to make those pauses. But yeah, you know what? I've been told that a few times. I can understand that the price is a bit high. Okay. So that's my first step. My next step is going to be to isolate that objection, right? So again, a good example, a simple example is, but let me ask you something. Money aside for a second, is there anything else that's possibly holding you back from moving forward today with, X, Y, and Z? Okay. And then I'm going to listen. A lot of this is about listening and understanding the real reason why. Okay. So why I isolate that objection. Okay. And they're going to repeat it back to me. Yeah, it's just price. Okay. So I totally understand. So, the only thing preventing you from moving forward today and being totally confident is just the price. The price is a little bit over your budget. Okay. All right. What have I done there?
You're still agreeing with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So put yourself in the same shoes. Okay, what has it done in terms of anxiety or in terms of emotions or power or leadership? What have I done?
Just drop that wall again.
I've
Just
neutralized.
made them feel comfortable.
Right. So if anyone's ever been put under high pressure sales tactic before, it's kind of the opposite, isn't it?
hmm
Right? We're not agreeing. It almost is combative, and at times it can be quite triggering, right? We've all been there and done that, or experienced it in one form or another. And I don't recommend that kind of sale. Those sales typically cancel very quickly after you leave, and that's not the way to do business. So what I want to do is I want to neutralize. I want to bring it back to a place where we can have a conversation, and I can help and dig a little bit deeper into what's actually holding them back from making that decision. Because that's why I'm there. They wouldn't have invited me there, or we wouldn't be having the conversation if they didn't have a problem that could be solved. But somewhere along the way, I haven't picked up the right information, or I haven't asked the right question in order to get to that real objection. Okay. So, how many of you guys really struggle with price objections?
Since you started helping me, I actually feel a lot more confident in my sales, and I've noticed the last couple of jobs that I'm pricing, I'm not getting the objection as fast as I was prior.
Okay. That's a good start. So there's another thing called timing the objections, right? So maybe you guys have noticed, maybe you haven't, but typically we get the same sort of 3 or 4 objections, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be timing, certainty, price, right? Quality, those kind of objections. So again, the first thing we want to do is we actually want to lower our own guard. Okay. So especially if you're starting out and objection handling is new to you, it can be quite intimidating, right? Somebody's told you no to your face, and we're taught at a very young age that, no is no, right? That's sort of an authority stance. And, it's rude to kind of, push forward, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right? But is that fair to your customer or to your business? Is it fair if somebody's struggling with a decision that we just, pack up our bags and leave?
I would say no.
No. Okay. It means that we have to work a little harder. We have to be there essentially for our customer, right? So again, it isn't about hammering them with your pitch and, trying to get them to exactly see it your way. It's more about them seeing it the way that makes the most sense to them, right? Having them kind of go through the steps, having them, relax, right? Having you relax. And again, this is why I really recommend this particular style for anyone that really struggles with objection handle, because it lowers the resistance on both sides. Okay. So now that we have our framework, all right, who wants to pick a situation or a a objection that they've gotten recently? I'll see if I've got something to handle it.
Um, the other day,
Hmm.
they said the price was a little too high,
Okay.
and so as you know, I got the job still. But
Hmm.
I basically told them if we needed to negotiate something on the materials side in order to get where their number where they would be comfortable, we
Hmm.
could do that. Like possibly take out. They had a really high end tap and sink.
Hmm.
I said, if you wanted to look for maybe the same style and a cheaper price, we could do that as well. And they were all for it.
Okay.
So within
So
10 minutes,
what was that savings to them? Like, what did that represent in terms of moving
uh,
moving forward?
It was almost $1,000, I think, with the tap, like the faucet and the sink
Okay.
that they saved.
Okay. So that made it more into their budget and they felt more confident. So now that didn't cost you on your end though, did it?
Nope.
Okay. So again, that's a perfect example of problem solving, right? So how did it feel while you were going through it?
Fantastic. I was,
Right.
like I said, I feel a lot more confident now that I've been, going over these steps and going over the framework that you've given us.
Okay. So now if that particular situation had been an uncertainty objection, all right, what was your step to isolate? How did you know,
Uncertainty.
how were you confident that it was in fact price and that you were able to make basically a tit for tat barter?
I could kind of see it as we were going over the quote.
Okay.
I could kind of see it as I gave them all the pricing. You could see them kind of humming and hawing and kind of looking away.
Mm-hmm.
And right away, I just kind of said, "Hey, if this is a little bit out of your price range, then we can work it out and we can get what you want still, but we can probably get it at a better value."
Okay.
I said, I was just handing them a bunch of products. I did 3 different kitchens for them. And I said, if you want to mix and match, then go right ahead. And so that's what we did. We just picked from other kitchens and got what they wanted. So,
Okay. So really what you did is you built value, right? So that's sort of a classic value close, right? So again, their real concern, their real issue was the budget. All right. You were able to get it to a range where they feel comfortable, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit on that. Is it
okay.
possible that in order for them to feel confident with you, all right, and moving forward with you, that they needed to get a deal or feel like they got a deal?
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but they basically told me that out of the 4 contractors that came there, I was the only one that gave the presentation and actually sat down and asked what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So after they said that, I felt very confident that, they wanted to do business with me.
Okay. So again, taking that extra time doing the presentation, like moving it through, it's pretty easy, right? Like really, it sounds like there wasn't really a strong objection there, and you were able to kind of pivot and use value to not lower your price. And we had talked about it actually before, but you went armed with a promotion, you went armed with a trial close, so you were prepared to do war, correct?
Yep.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
And let me ask you another question. Like you were really prepared for that call, weren't you?
Oh yeah. I spent probably about 5.5, 6 hours going over things, going over my quote, my estimates, going through my sales pitch, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you think that led to your confidence?
For sure. 100%.
Right. Pretty easy formula, right?
Yep.
Okay. So again, with everything that I'm going through here, guys, I want you to kind of, oh, hold on a second. Let me put some people on pause here. So what I want you guys to imagine here for a second is if you're selling the same offer, let's say it's a bathroom, it's a kitchen, it's a remodel, it's a roof, okay? You're gonna find that you're running into those exact same objections. So would it not be valuable for everybody here? And again, I can't really sell you the value. You have to sell yourself. But like if you could manage those kind of 7 to 8 possible objections that you're getting consistently, what would your business look like?
You'd be killer in sales for sure.
Right? And does it really take a lot more work?
No, I don't think so.
Do you need to have 25 years of hard sales experience? No.
I don't have a very good sales background myself.
Right.
I'm pretty good talking with people,
Mhm.
but I never had any sales background before. And now that you've given me this, it's boosted my confidence tenfold.
Right. So, and again, I want to kind of make sure that I'm being clear about what makes a great salesperson and what separates them, right? And a lot of contractors when it comes to sales, I feel like they never even gave themselves a shot. They've never actually invested in practicing and actually put themselves in the uncomfortable position, role plays, all these other things that we're doing, all this, uncomfortableness, which we're going to do very shortly again. And at the end of the day, those are skills that you can now double your sales, right? So like the time that you invest in these kind of things, all right, have more than a double, triple payback, right? Over the course, I mean, you can't even put a figure to it, right?
Yep.
So again, the challenge for today, and like we're coming to the end of this series, especially with the sales presentation, how to present your offers. I know there's still going to be gaps for a lot of you guys, so reach out if you do have those. But again, let's think about our own situations. Let's think about the objections that you've received in the past. Okay. If you can remember them, let's see if we can come up with a half decent one for you guys to work on, and we'll see if we can solve some problems here today. So we're gonna do the cost to benefit close. Actually, Mike, I see you're right in front of me, so you are gonna be my customer. Nick, I'm gonna pick
Sorry,
on
the phone
you.
just rang at the same time. You were saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you the rep. Is that cool?
Oh, okay. What are we doing?
Yeah, you're gonna be running this script. So I gave it in the chat there. We're gonna do a quick role play. All right, and this is a cost to benefit close script. All right, so make sure you've got your script open, and Mike's gonna be the customer. I'm gonna be the rep. I'm gonna explain kind of how this in general works, right? So again, this is another way of handling a cost or a price objection. Okay. So, but what we're going to do, all right. So I want you guys to think about when you're selling a higher end product or service. Again, this applies to B2B as well. Like if you're selling a long-term expensive maintenance contract, all right, where the ticket price is really high, we have to be able to kind of shift their focus to long-term value. Okay. If they get caught up on price, all right, we're not really talking about the right things. We're not talking about value, right? We're just talking about price. So we have to extend the way that they're looking at it. All right. So this encourages the customer to see the investment as solving the problem for good, right? Builds emotional confidence, choosing quality over savings up front. Or again, if you're selling maintenance contracts, as I know a lot of you guys are, or working towards it, why would they spend $40,000 with you now to save $60,000 or $100,000 down the road, right? That's kind of like giving money at a discount. But people will fixate on the $40,000, not the $100,000 or the $60,000 you saved them. Okay. So what's really important is that you're keeping their frame or their focus on the long-term benefit, right? So how many of you here would, take and give me $1 if I gave you back 4 tomorrow?
Why not?
Okay. Why not? Right?
Mhm.
It makes perfect sense. That's like giving money at a discount, right?
Mhm.
All right. So with that perspective in mind, I can tell you firsthand that most people tend to fixate on cost. The initial, that, hey, give me $1, that is what they tend to fixate on. Okay. This happens a lot with I find in the B2B, if you're dealing with churches and stuff like that. Again, it doesn't matter in every group, in every business to business setting, we're going to run into a situation like that where we have to be able to, again, refocus them on the value long term. Okay, so let's roll with this close. Nick, you ready?
Nope. Where is the script?
Oh,
On
here it
the
is.
screen.
It's on the screen, but it's also in the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm reading the script. Okay, so I'm the rep. Okay.
You're the rep. Okay.
So
So
this, no, go ahead.
yeah, go for
All
it, man.
right. This just seems too expensive right now.
Yes. I understand. So if I'm hearing you right, like the total cost is a bit more than expected.
Yeah, it's just more money than what we wanted to spend on this project.
Yeah, I get it. I get how you feel. With like rapid inflation, everything should be more expensive these days, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Can I ask you like a honest question? Like, if cost wasn't a factor, and you could set your own price, what are the reason you'd go ahead with this project?
Well, we love that this roof is high quality and will save us money and energy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You mentioned earlier that you wanted a permanent solution to your problems, right?
Yes, that's true.
So do you strongly believe that our metal roof is the permanent solution to what you've been looking for?
Yes, we do.
So the big question is, should we spend what we initially wanted and sacrifice on what do we need, or is it worth investing a bit more until
Bit of a tongue
on
twister.
a permanent, true permanent solution?
We don't want to do this again.
Yeah, I agree, and I wouldn't let this happen to you. The question we need to answer now are, so first, is this roof the one you want on your own? And two, are we the company you want to work with? Does the total and monthly investment fit comfortably in your budget?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I appreciate your confidence, and I know you're going to love your new roof. Welcome to J Carding Roofer Sheet Metal family. You deserve it.
Okay. So can anybody tell me what we did there in terms of shifting the belief? How did we turn that from I'm not sure? And again, this would be somebody that has a price objection, much like the one that that Mike gave us an example of. Like it didn't take very much, did it? This
No.
wasn't an overly hard close. But how many of you guys have had customers right there where you're like, it could have gone either way, right? They're excited, they want to work with you, and then boom, they shut you down last second of the call. Has anyone had that? Or I just
Yep.
need to get my credit card. I
Yep.
wonder if any of you guys have given me that one. I think some of you had. So again, at that point, we have to get them refocused on the value. Okay. So did I try to fight with them or argue with them about why we're the best? Did I pump my chest or bet, try to hard persuade them? No. All right. We never want to come off as conversational. All I'm doing, all right, is leading them to the answer. So they actually sold themselves there by answering my question. Like, why would you even want to work with us?
Mhm.
All right. I'm eliminating all the other objections that can lie below a actual price objection. Right. So a lot of times people will give you the price objection when it's not that. Right. They just don't like you. They don't trust you. Your presentation was sloppy. Like there can be any number of things. Right. But if we don't move them that direction, we're not going to find the real reason behind it.
And if they keep going again with the price objection, if we say, price aside, like, are you like confident that we can do the work for like properly for you? Yes, but like it's really about the money.
Mm-hmm. So again, we've talked about kind of our strategy with that. Good, like real closers are going to go in, not, right to the budget line. Like there's always room to run a promotion, but you're going to do that tastefully. So you would have already laid out, in my opinion, like your trial close. So for us, that's a marketing promotion. Okay. So like at that point is the time to bring up the marketing promotion. So like Nick, no, totally get it. Price is your sticking factor, but if I were to, possibly get down to closer to the number that you would feel confident moving forward with me, would that be something you'd even be interested in right now?
Yes, but the number is like still not even close.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, we do have a marketing promotion and I'll explain to you how it works. Basically the cost of me coming out here tonight and, with my schedule being as hectic as it is, I'm more than confident that we'll be moving forward and installing a roof. And I think you're confident that we're the right company to actually do that work for you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so really what we're talking about here is just about the financial investment and more maybe about the timing. So we do have a promotion, Nick, if you're willing to kind of give us a good review and share your experience with your neighbors and allow us to kind of use some video footage for our company. And I only have to come out once to see you. All right. I'm authorized to actually provide about a 3.6% discount. Now, I know that's not very much, and that's probably not what you're looking for exactly, but does it get us a little bit closer to where we want to be?
Little bit, but it's still we're still out of budget. We don't have enough money.
Okay. So again, is this we don't have the money right now, or is this like something you need to save towards? Like, is there, what's the situation?
Yeah, like it's 50,000 over what we thought we had budgeted, so we would
Okay.
need to save more money for that.
Okay. So earlier we had mentioned that we provide some pretty decent payment plans. And when I say payment plan, I don't really recommend my customers take out a long-term loan and with high interest, but what our company's more than willing to do is actually defer some payments for you or break the payments up over a 12-month period. Then we're not really looking at 50,000. We're really kind of looking at about 3 or 4,000 a month for 12 months, and that's interest free. Would that maybe help us to digest this a little bit more, and we could start the process of protecting your home?
Yes, yes, yes. I guess we could do that.
Okay, all right, and yeah. So there you go. Right, I can keep going on and on. So again, like those are tools that I have in my tool belt, right? Again, when I go in, we know that there's a certain percentage of people that we know right off the bat, especially certain cultures, that if you don't give them a deal, they're not going to buy from you, right? If they don't feel like they got your price down a little bit, all right, they might not go forward with you, right? Just out of that. Okay, so there is a certain population. I'm sure you've all ran into them. I'm personally one of those guys. Like if I don't, I am the guy that's, late at night on Facebook Marketplace, like lowballing people, right? So, I mean, again, I don't know what to say. It's not that, it's not, it's kind of just you're born with it, right? So, again, there's people that will barter and will plead it. So you've got to be prepared for that, right? And one of the easiest ways is a win-win, right? So when I do a trial close, did you notice that I didn't say that it was going to, oh, I got something and this should do it, right? This is going to save a ton of money on this. No, you know what? I'm not even sure if it would be, enough to really kind of put us over, but is it worth offering? Right? So what I'm doing is I'm going to downplay that trial close. Okay, the reason I'm going to downplay it, all right, is number one is when I say something and I start to downplay, what do? Especially if you're in the bartering.
Relax.
Yep, but has anyone ever been in a like a back and forth with somebody that needed to get a deal and like, you're going back and forth. He wants 2,000. You're trying to find a place in the middle. Has anyone had that experience?
Mhm.
All right. So if I were to come and say, hey, I'm going to take 10% off, that's going to save you a ton of money. What have I just opened the door for?
It looks like you're overshooting.
Right. So is he going to stop at that? Probably not.
No,
Right. So
about 20.
the reason why I'm going to actually go in with a written document, all right, is that stops the bleed, right? I can stop it there. And then there's ways to back that up and take it away. Okay. So again, a lot of how you deal with those guys that are like deal seekers, I'm going to call them, right, is give and take, right? So the one call close, I'm out. All right. This is a one-time offer. Obviously, again, if I have to come back, I can't offer you the promotion, for coming out and closing tonight. That seems pretty straightforward for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, but even Mike, we had you write up the document, have that in your back pocket, all right, in case you got another objection on price.
Yep.
Right? And you were armed and ready to use that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a mistake is to always go to that to lower your price. You like again, these are only after you've fully determined that these are true price objections, and like that's the thing that they're really stuck on. And even at that, right? I had another backup plan to that objection. Right. So now I'm making, but again, I didn't sacrifice more than that 3.4%, which is built into our prices. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's get some other ones. Who am I going to pick on now? Let me see some faces here. You know what? I'm going to pick on Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you with us? Oh, he is.
Damn. Hello,
Brave
hello.
soul. Okay, good man. All right, I'll let you be the customer for that.
Okay.
All right, now who else am I going to pick on here? You know what, Mario? I see you.
Which script are we going through? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull it back up on the screen. And it is the empathy close. Okay. A word, and again, I'm gonna be full transparent on this. This particular close is really tough for me, but so necessary when you're dealing with wives or sensitive men. Okay, so I'm gonna call the play up, but it's basically, again, it addresses objections from customers who want to shop around by demonstrating and understanding and reinforcing the unique value of your solution. Okay. So has anybody ever heard the term empathy close? No?
Nope.
Okay. So this will be new. All right. Who did I say was the customer again?
Me.
All right. And my rep, Mario? Oh, do we lose our confidence? Everyone's leaving.
Henry worse than me.
This is what I mean though. Like you gotta, again, this is,
I don't
if you
care, I'll
can't
do
get
it.
it right here, don't bother taking it out anywhere else.
I'm more stressed here than with a client.
But again, what's on the line here? Nothing.
I know.
Nothing. Right? In with a client, there's hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars on the line. So you much rather be under pressure here than out in front of your customer and blowing it. So
Yeah,
Maria,
I'll
I'm
do it.
going to get you to be the rep for me, okay? Maria? Oh, come on.
I'll be the rep if nobody else will do it.
All right, Mike, you're a sport, brother.
I don't mind
Appreciate it.
getting picked on.
No, I mean, you're the one that's going to be closing deals, right?
That's
So
right.
let's roll.
All right. Yeah, we appreciate your time today, but we still want to shop around and see what else is out there.
No problem. I understand. So you just want to explore a few more options to make sure our metal roof is what you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Besides looking at a few roofing options, was there anything else that stopped us from earning your business today?
No, that would take care of it.
Okay. I apologize, John and Marie. I must not have explained my kit very well. When you say you want to look at more options, are you still considering lower quality roofing? Earlier, you mentioned that an entry-level roofing solution wasn't an option for you, and I know you were sincere. Do you still feel the same way?
Of course not. We definitely won't be looking at those.
I'm glad to hear that. So just to clarify, when you say you're going to look at other options, are you considering stone-coated steel? Showing the sample, knowing how expensive stone coating can be, and how the system was shown to be defective, it wasn't worth spending more money on a temporary solution, correct?
No, we definitely don't want that one either.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, you want our metal roof solution, am I right?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So John and Marie, as I explained, from fluoropon coated metal roofing is unique to J. Carter Roofing and Sheet Metal. With our factory trained crews, nobody installs the roof like we do, and we stand behind it like no one else. If this is the roofing solution you want, let's work together and make it affordable for you while we're here. Fair enough?
Sounds good. Let's see what you could come up with.
Okay. So what have I just done? Where's that put us?
You're ready to sign a deal. You're just
Did I
looking
get a
over the
commitment?
numbers.
Did I get a commitment?
You're-
Right. So again, one of the things that you want to work towards, all right, is a lot of times what we get fixated on is the big close. All right. The big thing when we give up those little concessions we can make along the way. Okay. So overlooking kind of the small wins and getting them to say yes more than they are saying no, right? If somebody's just no, 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 it's very hard to kind of open them up. What do you do in that situation? Has anyone had that experience where they're just like, they see your price and I've literally had it where somebody just stopped talking, period, just stared at me. and like held the stare. It was something. It was like still an objection handle. I haven't figured out how to get beyond. He just didn't say anything. I had to leave. He just s- was staring blankly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Guess that's a good way to get rid of people.
It worked. Like, yeah, it put me back on my feet. But like next time, I'll be ready for him. I'll tickle
I
him.
think Chris Voss talks about that. I think I heard Chris
Mhm.
Voss say something to the effect of like, it looks like you've got something on your mind.
Mhm.
So you're kind of like try to pull it out of them a little bit. But I like how we're presenting a lower level option that they obviously don't want,
Right.
and then a higher one which they obviously don't want. So you're bringing them
Right.
back to, where we want to take them. I guess my question is, are we then going back? Are we looking at our numbers again and then coming
Nope.
to them? I'm not sure what happens after
So,
this final line.
the whole process here is that I've presented a good, better, best option. Okay. So the idea behind all of this in all of our presentations, and you can adapt this to anything, bathrooms, you can do it with commercial maintenance contracts. You can do it with you can apply it. It's the power of your offer. Okay. So like in this particular situation, I've presented the good price. Okay. And I know that they want to go ahead with the better, right? Like that's where 80% of your customers will choose to be. All right. But what's stopping them from making that next step, all right, can be a number of things, right? And we're kind of going to go through a couple more of those. But really here they need to hear it back from themselves, right? They know what they don't want and they know what they want, right? So I'm just getting them to agree to that and then moving them to the next stage, which is again, if I get a price objection, a true objection under that, I'm going to go finance, I'm going to go, that's how I'm going to make the deal, or I'm going to concede on that discount. But they're there. They've made a commitment to me in this, correct?
Mhm.
Right? So the micro commitment is I want this roof. This is the roof that I want. This is the roof that fits me. Or I want this kind of service. Okay. So has anyone been put in that position where again, most like retail outlets are pretty good at doing it, right? So like they will present, I mean, they'll present a good, better, best, right? In terms of quality. Okay. Or warranty. That's another good one. How many of you guys have accepted at the counter the extended warranty and you've got a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year warranty on a new electronic?
For sure.
Okay. How many of you know that they actually make their profit on those warranties? They don't make they make peanuts on the actual, item, but they make their money on the extended warranties. Okay. So what they've done basically is they've got you to think about the long-term consequences, the long-term problem, right? Pretty easy to commit on that side, right? But they've given you, basically the idea of not having a warranty and this thing breaking, right? Is that not always the conversation, right? You've made this $200, $300 purchase. You can protect your purchase today for XYZ,
Mhm.
right? So this is basically what you're doing. Okay. So before we go on to one more, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a break. I want to talk about another thing that comes up a lot and that that I want to make sure that I separate from a price objection is sales calls issues. Who wants to talk about some sales call issues, or who can tell me what a sales call issue is?
Maybe stuttering on the phone when you're trying to pitch.
Okay. How about the husband's drunk and has beat up his wife?
Oh,
Or the husband is rude in front of, or is
what kind of people are you
verbally
selling to, man?
abusing your client? How do you handle those situations? Right? If you've done sales long enough, you've encountered this at one point or another, right?
Jeez.
So has anybody encountered an awkward situation where, they didn't really kind of know what to do and they had to retreat?
Well, that exact situation, I've seen it once. Not bad, but the husband was like anything that the wife was saying, he was just like dismissing her and like was super rude and was like really awkward. It left some silence. I didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
I just went through it, but it was awkward. We got the sale, but it was
Not a boy.
I didn't
That's what I
handle
like to hear.
I didn't handle it at all.
Okay. Anybody else has any other situations that they've encountered where you know, they've been put in a awkward situation?
Not like that.
No?
No.
All these seasoned veterans here, nobody's had these weird situations. How about I've got a good one from the commercial side. One time I was doing a sales presentation. Halfway through, the CEO had to take this emergency call. All right. And I was left in the boardroom for 3.5 hours. Right. But I didn't leave. And what I ended up doing, all right, in that situation, all right, is I went to the front desk and I asked them if I could use their phone. All right. And then I asked them for the CEO's business card and I called him on the phone off the front desk. And he picks up. I was like, okay. So again, I wasn't rude or anything else like that, but you know, we're in the middle of a big presentation. It was like he just tapped out. He just left. So I actually had to call him back, and I thought that, like, I was like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that, you know, we had to call you back to the boardroom, but we still have people that are here. If we want to maybe reschedule this, I guess we could. Right? He's like, "Oh, no, I'll be there in like 5 minutes." And we were able to actually still close the deal. But I sat there like an idiot for 3 hours, like an absolute drip rail, just twiddling my thumbs. So again, you're gonna find if you do enough of this, and it doesn't matter which setting, you're gonna find yourself in some hot water. Greg, you must have some. You must have one that we can solve for you. No?
I a person goes back and analyzes the different things that they were in when you're having these conversations, and you replay what it was that you said and what they said, and then you think, you know, I should have
Shoulda,
done
coulda?
that. Should have,
Right.
could have done this. If I would have had that objection handling technique, I could have solved that one, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. So,
I just
so
had one the other day actually, and I went in. Thought I had the sale for sure,
okay.
and I put through the proposal, and then I didn't hear anything. I thought that's odd, so I thought I'd, you know, just get in touch, and I found out they replied back by email. Oh yeah, we went with someone else, and so I replied back by email, and like, what was it that made you go with the other person? Was it this? Was it that? And let them see if they'd come across. And it was like somehow they got the impression that we were too busy. So I don't
Okay.
know if that was just a cover up on their part, or if it was really the price objection was it, and they just wanted to be nice and do
Okay.
that, right?
So generally that means that you were late to the sale. So they've already made a decision, right? So
Yeah.
did you, I'm assuming that you sent them an estimate and then followed up with them, right? So you never
That's what
got
I
the
had to do. Yeah.
Okay. So we never got an opportunity. And again, like, you lose a lot of your momentum if you do it that way.
Mhm.
Again, I can't encourage it more. You're always going to sell more and at a higher clip if you're in front of a customer, right? But let me ask you, what stops you from going out, doing an estimate, and closing the customer on the spot?
So,
Time.
and this is another reason why I'm working on my project, which is the price book.
Right.
So I have that right, my game plan right there, and I can close it on the spot. So
Okay.
it's not like I have my quick list here, and this job is that price and that's this price, but I will shortly, and then that should help solve that, and then we beat the other guy out. So that's my goal.
Okay.
I got to
So
make it happen.
So
It's
one
happening.
thing that I've noticed with most good salespeople, and this is sort of a tip, right, is that if we don't take and learn a lesson, like, you're always going to get stumped. Like, you can't sell everything. There's always going to be situations where you didn't know how to handle it, right? And there's still situations to this, like, I mean, it happens to me still, all right? What I want you to kind of imagine, what all great closers have, is they have a tendency to write it down. You know, when I say sales playbook, really what I'm reflecting to you is all the weird messed up things that have happened to me, and that I come back and again, as soon as I can get it written down, all right, I can practice it. I can bring it to a situation where I can role play it. I can feel confident the next time I come up against that. And eventually over time, what happens is you end up with either a very, very long list of situations that you've been in, right? But you also end up with the confidence of being able to handle just about anything, right? So again, in the sales module, in the sales thing, if any of you guys ever have any question on how you're supposed to handle certain situations, I don't think there's going to be a ton of them outside of what I've included there. There's over 77 situational handles that you can go through. And again, the idea here is that you're going to build your own playbook, right? So what I want you to do is use the resources. Like, again, if somebody's sharing with you, a proven method of handling a bad situation, all right, it's in your best interest if you do come across it or if you think you're going to encounter it, all right, that we get it into a playbook. We have a way of coming back to it and referencing it. The best playbooks, again, I have I'm lying. My little black book is always on my desk, but my 3-year-old must have borrowed it for a little bit. But again, it happens all the time, and it's just the way you handle it, right? It's the situation. If you can get it out of your head, you can get it documented, you can get it into a playbook. Not only can you solve it for you with confidence, who else can you solve it for?
The customer.
Little less about them, but
Your
anybody?
employees.
Yes, there we go. All right. So again, one of the things that I see most often is we're kind of doomed to repeat the same mistakes we don't learn our lessons from, right? So if we refuse to take the time to actually learn the lesson from the mistake, it's just going to continue to repeat in different variations, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been on these kind of calls where we get into an objection handle and it's like the lights come on and they realize like, oh my God, that one objection or that one personality type or that one situation, I've been handling wrong this whole time. And it's just like they get into their next situation, they're able to solve it every single time. What would that be like for you? Right?
Miserable.
Would there be so much dread around, going to sell or so much fear with how many leads you got to get and all that kind of stuff? Of course not. Right. So again, my point here is that we want to be continuously sharpening the iron. I've given you guys all a great resource. I think it's in the playbook that I gave you guys too. So if you guys are smart, you will take those SOPs and the plays, all right? And if you come across one, make it your own. Okay? Not everything you can copy verbatim from me. I talk a different way. I communicate a different way. These are my own plays. So again, make them your own. Practice them. Make sure that they feel right. Okay? The worst thing you can do is wear someone else's underwear. Okay? Don't wear anyone else's underwear because what works for me doesn't mean it'll work for you. So that's that's the purpose of practicing, right? Even if it's your wife, your family, whoever, right? I always do it with my daughters. Like, again, you can practice your objection handles. The best ones and the best advice I ever got was out of a children's book about sales. And if you want to practice real, tactics and strategies, go talk to your children. All right. Again, they're going to be the best case for you. So with that said, let's do one more. All right. One more fun one that I want to share with you guys. I don't know if I shared this one last time, but we're going to do the honesty close. So let's assume here for a second that somebody questions your trial close. Do you think that's a possibility? So or maybe you've had another discount. How would you handle that situation?
They question what?
They question your trial close. So again, I'll give you this scenario. They have skepticism of if you just offer this to everyone, right? So if I call you tomorrow, of course I'm going to get the discounted rate. How do you handle that, right? Because that can be reversed on you. All right, especially if you were too quick to it, right? If you didn't build your credibility. What happens if they are skeptical of you? What's that do to your entire sale? You think you're closing that?
No.
Shot.
Right. You've just lost all your credibility and basically, I mean, you may as well walk away with your tail between your legs. So it's happened a time or two where we've been questioned on this. All right, so we want to be able to neutralize that objection. Okay, so do I got one reader left? One reader?
I can give it
No.
a shot.
All right. Look at Johnny pulling up his sleeves. Excellent.
Which one do you want me to do?
So I think I'll get you to be the customer. And Maria, I'm going to continue to pick on you till you answer.
Okay.
All right. You want to be the rep?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's do the honesty close.
So I'm just reading this straight off
Yep,
of this.
you're the
Okay.
customer. Try to use a little bit of tonality to it, but yeah, we're just going to read it and I'm going to show you how the objection works.
All right. I am fighting a cold, so if I go into coughing spit, I'll mute
All good.
myself or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Are you telling me that if I call you tomorrow, I won't get that discount? I'm sure if we called you tomorrow, you'd still give us that price.
John and Mary, let me ask you a question. Let's say a company came out to give you information on a new roof for your house. And during that appointment, the sales rep lied to you and you caught him. What would that make him?
Oh, that would make him a liar.
Would he be a liar once or a liar, period?
A liar, period.
What would you do with a salesperson who was lying to you?
We would kick him out of our house.
I would do the same thing. John and Mary, the owners of J. Carter Roofing and Sheet Metal, take a great pride in their company. They have built their business by creating everyone with honesty, integrity, and respect. They would never tolerate a representative making false claims and lying to customers, which I'm sure you appreciate, right?
Yes, I would.
If a representative like myself offers a discount and then goes back on their word, it would not only be untruthful and unethical, but also illegal. There are truth in advertising laws we must follow for anything promised in writing or verbally. Knowing our reputation is on the line, I'm sure you understand why we offer this equally to all of our customers, right?
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense.
So the real question isn't whether this promotion will be available tomorrow. The questions we need answered today are, is this the roof you want installed in your home? And what did you say?
Yeah, we love the roof.
Is J. Carter Roofing and Sheet Metal still the company you want doing the work?
Yes, we like your company.
Finally, does the total and monthly investment for our premium metal roof fit into your budget?
Yes, it does.
Congratulations. Let's lock in all this promotion so you can maximize your savings.
Okay. So what did I do?
Just reinforce you weren't a liar.
Okay. So a couple of key things here is, you know, people, how many of your customers challenge you?
Everyone.
Right. They want to check your integrity, right? Has anybody had them call them out kind of on something and, you know, question your integrity directly?
Yeah, I deal with a lot of referrals, so
Okay.
I don't get that a lot. But now that I'm going through like cold leads,
Okay.
then yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna get more of it.
Okay, so I'll share with you my 2 cents on this particular one where you'll encounter it the most. As the stakes in your sale get higher, okay, and as you deal with a more like D personality, all right, so a dominant, you know, wealthy businessman, right, spending 100 or 150 grand with you. It's not really the money that he's concerned about, right? But you know, maybe we've triggered something with him. Maybe the discount or the rebate, like he's misunderstood. And if he's questioning your integrity, all right, and you don't defend that first, all right, properly, there's zero chance you're going to get that sale. Okay, because he's lost all of his trust. And now most of you guys are in the D personality here. All right. Have you tested somebody that you maybe didn't trust or wanted to see kind of put them under pressure?
Of course.
Right? Kind of brings it back to the playground, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like what Donald Trump did to Trudeau. Exactly that, right? Forced him to show his colors. No politics aside, but again, this goes on all the time, and especially as your price and the stakes get higher and higher. So again, a very, very important one is that if you're going to have a promotion, okay, first thing, always written. All right. We don't come off the cuff. All right. And we're going to be making sure that that's isolated, because if it wasn't really a price objection and you went ahead and did that promotion, all right, what do you think the first objection after that's going to be?
They're just going to try and grind more out of you.
Right. Well, or they're going to question your whole integrity with it. They're going to, like, that's somebody saying, yeah, like it, like, let's just say like, hey, I was willing to close with you and I'm just shit testing you. Right. Not that, that happens, but and you don't respond accordingly and actually, in the way that you should, that whole promotion thing is gone, right? And you've lost that sale. Can almost guarantee it. That's where he's going to be like, yeah, I need to think about it, or, just get out or whatever. Right. So again, if you're going to use that promotional offer or that that trial close that I've suggested, you're definitely going to want to have one of these, because it's going to happen at least a couple of times. Okay. So before we end our call here, for everybody that participated, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and hopefully you can immediately start closing some sales. If you do, please share it in the group. Share your wins. We love to celebrate your wins, especially if you're closing big contracts. Mike, super proud of you, brother, for going out and taking imperfect action, or I should say, actually, you put a lot of work into your action. So, and the results show. Also, Nick, I want to celebrate a win from Nick here as well. He managed to pull off his first one call close. So
Right.
during this whole period, he went out. I know he hadn't done that in a while or ever, but super proud of him. And again, just took action. Wasn't perfect, right? But we'll get there.
Yeah, I got some more work to do, but the first try it worked. So
Right.
Yeah, we'll keep going. I got another one tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's what it's all about, guys. Like, again, don't put the pressure on yourself to be perfect. There is no such thing. Take imperfect action. And when you do get knocked down, all right, the procedure and the process should be the same. Let's seek out what the right way was. Let's make sure that it fits what we do and fits, how we want to feel in these calls. All right. And that it adds to our leadership. Okay. It adds to our confidence. All right. And then we want to practice that. And then I promise you guys, if you read these things through 5, 6, 7, 8 times, it becomes subconscious, right? You'll just immediately, like, you won't need to think about it anymore. It just comes so naturally to you, right? So again, these kind of calls, super important. Thanks to everybody for showing up, and hope everybody got some benefit, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, Jay, had a quick question.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Right.
sure.
Is that the Sales Accelerator AI? That's where all this
Yeah.
information's in?
Yeah.
Can you make
And then
that
you have a custom playbook, Greg. So like all of the stuff
do
that
I?
I'm showing,
Oh.
yeah, you have a whole custom playbook we wrote for you, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like all these, and again, like the electrical objections, they're written specifically for you,
Mhm.
right? So that's what our technician training is that we've
Oh,
been.
okay.
So all this stuff is like stuff we'll role play and try. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right,
Have a good day,
guys.
guys.
Thanks a lot.